Well, this is an interesting model steam engine and also a first for my collection because this is a Czech model steam engine. It was made by the Ites, I'm not sure whether I'm pronouncing that correctly, Ites company in Czechoslovakia around about sometime in the 1950s. And that is all I know. That literally is all I know. Now, I've seen a few pictures of these online. If you do a Google search, you can find them. And it should have a fairly tall red coloured chimney with it. But other than that, oh yeah, and it should have a whistle. A brass bush has been put in place of where the whistle bush was, and a plug has been put in, just a screw. But other than that, I think it's all complete. There is a burner in there. Let me let it come round, and we'll whip that out. There we have the. I'm fairly certain that is the official burner for it, because it certainly fits in the hole, which is in the middle of the base plate underneath the boiler. So yeah, it all turns, it's all free, but the engine mounting plate has got bent at some point in time, so I've got to strip this down and straighten the alignment up on the engine plate. And obviously the firebox is very badly rusted, so I think we'll take it apart, do a bit of restoration on the firebox, clean up the boiler. I thought, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, someone's, got some paint spray over it, all these little white dots on the base. But I think that's actually part of the finish, because there are no white dots on the raised engine mount. There's no white dots on the firebox or the boiler or any of the rest of it. It's only on the base. So I have a feeling that is actually part of the finish, believe it or not, although it does look rather like an accident. But yeah, so I'll get it stripped down and we'll straighten up the engine frame, and I'm not really going to do anything with this. I think this is just fine. I'll clean it obviously, but the firebox definitely needs attention, and we'll clean the boiler up as well. Okay, got it all stripped down. The boiler and the firebox are going to have to go into a vinegar bath. They're quite sort of bad condition. I managed to, there are two screws that hold the port block onto the frame here. Took those off, and I was able to straighten up the metal plate which is riveted onto the cast engine base. And I've also fiddled around with the bends on the eccentric strap for the piston valve, and now it all runs straight and true, which is a lot better than it was. So yeah, next job, clean up the boiler and the firebox, repaint the firebox. I'm just going to clean up the base. I'm not really going to do anything else with it because I think it's fine. And yeah, let's get on with it. Well, I made a little bit of progress with the Czech model steam engine. The firebox, chimney support and the top of the burner there, they're all ready to have a coat of EHT high temperature paint, which is pretty much all the painting I'm going to do on this. The boiler has had its vinegar bath and initial cleanup. It's come out quite nice. I even managed to clean the bloody sight glass, which is amazing. God, I was scratching my head about how to do that. And in the end, what I did was I took some, because the sight, I don't know how well you can see it, but the sight glass basically turns through 90 degrees at each end and then goes into the boiler. So, and it was all crudted up with rust. So basically what I did was I got some very fine wire wool and twisted it into like a long pipe cleaner shape, and then fed it through the sight glass and just rotated it and managed to get all of the bloody rust off, which is great. So yeah, I'm not going to do any more to this. As I said, I think this is all part of the finish, although it does look like somebody sprayed paint all over it, white paint, but I think it's actually supposed to be like that. So final clean up on the boiler, nice polish, and then, as I said, EHT paint on these parts, and we should be ready to put it back together. The little Czech engine is back together. Obviously, you can see what I've done. I have basically just restored the firebox, the chimney support, and given the boiler a good clean. Now, the main reason for doing this was not really to make it look nice, which obviously is beneficial. But the firebox is very badly rusted, so if you leave it, it's just going to continue to rust. So by removing what rust there was on there and then painting it with the high temperature engine paint, hopefully that will protect it for a few years to come. What else? Well, yeah, it all went back together fine. There was a slight modification that I've made to it. Well, it's not a modification, it's an addition. So it could be removed, you know, if you want to take it right back to standard. We'll let it come round and we'll close in on it. So what I've done is I've added this collar, this brass collar here, over this side of the flywheel. So why have I done that? Well, the eccentric strap, which is here, I noticed that when you moved the flywheel, spun it, particularly in one direction more than another, every now and again the eccentric strap would move across the eccentric and fall off the edge, and there was nothing to retain it. Looking at it from this direction, there was nothing to retain it on the right hand side. So I simply machined up this little brass collar which fits over the hub of the flywheel, and it stops the strap from going off the end of the eccentric. So it doesn't matter which way you turn it now, the strap stays on the eccentric, which is what you want, obviously. I did have a look through all of my other engines, and believe it or not, I could not find a suitable chimney for it's unbelievable, isn't it? You think, given all the steam engines I've got, I find a chimney that would suit this, but I couldn't. First of all, it's got the boss that the chimney sits on. That's about 1 inch in diameter, and that's quite large for a relatively small engine. So I've hardly got any chimneys that are 1 inch in diameter. So yeah, we're going to have to leave it chimneyless for now. What did I do with the burner? Right, well, with the burner, I simply used a wire brush to take the rust that was off the top of this, and then resprayed it black, again with the EHT paint. But yeah, I think we're about ready to see whether it will steam. Full disclosure, I have run it on air. Various reasons for doing that. I was trying to sort out what these threads were, and that was quite difficult, but I got there in the end, and so I made an air adapter up for it, and it runs quite happily on air. And as it's slip eccentric, it means you can run it in either direction depending on which way you spin the flywheel, and it runs quite happily in both directions on air. So yeah, next up, let's try steaming it. Well, I think we're nearly there. Yes, look at that. Oh my god, this thing is so quiet. It's just amazing. It's silent. Okay, so that's running anti-clockwise. Let's stop it. Yeah, not quite as happy to run the other way. Could simply be that I need to adjust the timing slightly, but it seems to be happy to run that way. Lovely. Not an awful lot wrong with that. Let's see if we can increase the pressure a little bit. I've got the gas turned down quite low. Yeah, that's better. Let's see if we can get it to go the other way. Not as happy going that way, is it? Definitely. Oh, I don't know, it's picking up. There we go. That's better. Oh, I'm well pleased with that. Definitely quieter when it runs in that direction. Yeah, let's turn the gas down. That's a bit too much. But no, she runs a treat. So this is Ites, or Ites, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Ites, made in Czechoslovakia, probably in the 1950s, that's about all I know about it. But it certainly runs a treat. Lovely little piston valve engine. Oh yeah, I do like that. And we have a non-leaking sight glass. Wow, that's an extreme rarity for a retro steam tech model steam engine. That just purrs along. Oh, I was really impressed with that. Oh, a slight wobble on the flywheel, but I noticed that before when I was just turning it manually. I'm not sure whether it's the crankshaft is actually bent, or it's just the flywheel was quite loose on the crankshaft, so it's probably simply once you tighten the grub screw up, it's not sitting square. Increase our gas pressure a little bit, shall we? What a lovely engine. Runs superbly. I'm well pleased with that. Let's see if we can get it going the other way. Yeah, definitely not as happy going that way, but it does run. Superb. Well, I have to say that I am well happy with my one and only Czech model steam engine. I wish I knew a bit more about these, but you know, you have to go with what you've got. But it definitely runs very well indeed, and I'm very pleased to have it in my collection. It's, you know, model steam engines come from all over the world, and it's so nice to get something that you know, is not British or American for a change. So yeah, I am well pleased with that. Let's see if we can slow it down, see how slow we can get it to go. Obviously there's no regulator, so I'm having to adjust the gas pressure on the burner to reduce the pressure, but it seems to respond quite well to changes in the gas pressure. So Again, certainly in this direction, very quiet. Well, I think that'll about do. I hope you've enjoyed this little video on this Ites Czechoslovakian model steam engine. I'm very pleased to have it in my collection, and it runs superbly. So, as always, thanks for watching. Cheers.